Hi, I'm Atlas, and welcome to my sketchbook. Today I'm in this baby book that I'm making for my sister. It's her first baby, and I wanted to make something special for her. So I've got about 3 pages left to finish, so I'm going to give you a quick flip through and then get started on those. So let's do it. The first page is an intro page with their names on it, so I'm going to keep that private for them. But then this page is a Mother's Day card for her first Mother's Day. And then it gets into the different sizes of the baby with some facts about their development for that week. I got these off of a website, which I can find and link if you want to know what it is, but you can pretty much find this information anywhere. Anyway, starts with a cranberry at week 6, then a blueberry and raspberry. And I did these with acrylic markers in a Master's Touch sketchbook. This is where I'm going to put the first ultrasound. Cherry and strawberry. Strawberry is my favorite. I don't know why, it just turned out so good, and I want to draw more strawberries because of this page. And we've got kumquat and a fig. The fig was also fun to draw. Lemon, which is one of my favorites, and kiwi. Apricot, peach, apple, which I also really enjoyed doing, pear, avocado, and then they did the early gender testing and found out that it's a boy, so orange and pomegranate. And I didn't realize until after I had already drawn all of this that I didn't have enough space to write pomegranate, so luckily this is going to my sister and not like someone professional. Grapefruit, dragon fruit, mango and banana, eggplant, and then this is some of my sister's safe foods. I was gonna put cravings here, but she hasn't really had any. She's just been throwing up the whole time. So some of her safe foods are sourdough bread, Wendy's chicken nuggets, and these street tacos from the town she lives in. Papaya and coconut, which I really, really like coconut. That was fun to do, and I think it turned out pretty good. Then cantaloupe and pineapple. The pineapple was so difficult. I think it looks alright, but it's not my favorite. And then we're down to honeydew, small pumpkin, and the last is watermelon. Then the rest are some pages for her to fill out about the story and some pictures and stuff like that. So let's get started on honeydew. So I'm using Ardex acrylic markers, and I'm going in first with CO2. This one's going to be pretty easy. One thing I don't love about this sketchbook, the quality of the paper is really good. It holds the acrylics really well, but as I started drawing in it, the spine started coming undone in places, so it's kind of falling apart already, which I don't appreciate, but I don't know if it's just that I got a defective one or if I handled it too harshly, but I wasn't really doing anything with it except painting in it. Well, drawing with paint markers, so I don't know. I never expected to enjoy drawing fruit so much. Um, I usually only draw people, and so it was an adventure for me to try drawing so many different fruits. I unexpectedly really liked doing the papaya. Um, doing all of the seeds was really fun. It was also fun to learn all the facts about the baby's development through the weeks. Like, let's read one of the facts for this for week 36 through 37. Let's see. The baby's ears are extra sharp and they may be able to remember sounds from now after they're born. Um, yeah, something else like that the website went into further detail is that the baby may be able to recall songs that they've heard while in the womb and have favoritism towards them. So that's cool. Since this is the outside of a honeydew, I'm just doing like the fun texture and the rind. So I'm gonna use 55 for that and just do like some speckling and stuff. I got told by my mom that I hold um, art supplies like I want to be left-handed. And I realized when I'm editing videos that that's kind of true because it's hard to see what I'm doing. Um, so I'm sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I am trying really hard to make it more accessible for you to see. Um, when I was a kid, I used to do everything with both hands. So when I was drawing, when my right hand got tired, I would switch whatever I was doing to my left hand. But then I went to school and they made me pick a hand. So I think I probably would have been either ambidextrous or fully left handed. Um, but, you know, school made me be right handed. But I can still do some things with my left hand. Like when I do my makeup, I do my face half and half with my hands. And I still have preference for certain things on my left side. Like, I prefer to hold my phone in my left pocket. I don't know, it feels wrong when it's in my right pocket, even though I use my phone with my right hand. Do any of you have things like that? Like, you may be dominant handed on one side, but you have preferences for the other side of your body for certain things? This one has been one of the easier ones to do. Well, it's just a bunch of green dots on a beige circle, so. I hope I'm going to have enough room to write the word, is what I'm worried about. With the different sizes of the fruits for each week, um, I kind of came up with my own order, like sort of following the websites and stuff that I'd seen, but um, I don't know, I thought about the sizes of the fruits that I've personally held and kind of made things up myself. Um, so it might not follow any particular website or app. Anyway, that's the honeydew finished, so let's write the word in and then move on to the pumpkin. I'm going to start it over here, so hopefully I have enough space. Yep, okay. So there's that page done. Next, the small pumpkin. I thought it was kind of weird that a pumpkin would come before the watermelon, which is the last one, but I don't know. I guess a small pumpkin. Once it starts getting to the bigger fruits, they're all kind of varying in sizes because I've seen small watermelons, big watermelons, like I've seen a range of sizes of watermelons. So, I don't know. Okay, so for this one, I don't want to run into a problem like I did with the pomegranate, so I'm going to slightly move it down as I draw it. I'm going to move it down like this and then erase the pencil underneath. Let's see. Yep. And it's turned on its side because I couldn't fit it the other way. So don't think this is what I think a pumpkin looks like. I turned it on its side. These markers have been pretty nice. They're not as opaque as I was expecting. I keep saying a lot. I'm so sorry. I notice that when I'm editing, is that I say a lot. But yeah, they weren't as opaque as I was expecting. See how they kind of have streaks and you can see the pencil through? I was expecting them to be more opaque from what I'd seen on reviews. But it's okay, they still work pretty well. Some of them are already drying out from how much I've used them, and I've only really used them in this book so far because I've been trying to make sure that they have enough juice for me to finish this book before I use them in my sketchbook. Oh my god, again. But some of the lighter colors have run out of juice already. Some of the darker colors came like super oversaturated with ink and nearly exploded in the packaging. Like they all come facing down this way so that the ink pools near the tip. And I had to turn those ones the other way around so that the ink wouldn't like flow out of the marker and into the packaging. But for the most part, I would recommend these markers. They do the job. I have some other ones as well that I'm gonna break out for the watermelon because they just have the colors that I'm looking for and the Ardex markers don't. So those ones are pretty good too. I just wanted a bigger color range, which is why I bought the Ardex ones as well. So that was C17. And next I'm going to go in with 18. And just kind of do like the shades, like the shading. I'm going to start, still a little wet. Hold on, I'm going to let it dry a second. So I'm going to go in the bottom first and just kind of create like this shadow. And then have it come up where the ridges of the pumpkin would be. Like here. Here. And there. And then do it from the top as well. Okay, then I'm just gonna like create some shading by flicking it up from the top and the bottom. I'm just gonna bring these a bit closer together. And then, yeah, just do that. So I found an even deeper orange in my other set of acrylic pens. So I'm gonna use that to deepen up the shadows. Kind of a strange angle for me. Usually I would turn it the other way, but then it wouldn't fit in the frame, so. This paper does pretty well with these. It only buckles a little bit, and obviously does more the more ink you use, more paint you use. Okay. I think I'm gonna call the pumpkin done there. Actually, maybe. So it doesn't look like such an outline and more like it's a shadow. Okay. It's kind of more red than I was expecting it to look. It didn't look that red on my swatch card, so, but it's alright. Now I'm just going to label this pumpkin. I have been so irrationally afraid that I'm going to misspell the words when I do that. Uh, I know how to spell, but I'm afraid that I won't. Anyway, so let that spot dry a little because it's looking still a little wet when I move the page, and then I'll move on to the last one. Okay, the last one is a watermelon, and it's one I've been super excited to do because I drew one in my sketchbook before I even thought of doing this. I was just wanting to draw some fruit, and I loved it so much, so I hope I can recreate it accurately here. First, I'm going in with a light green to be like the stripes down the side, and then I'll go in with some darker tone greens. As I went along in this book, it also became harder and harder to um, get the fruit to fit because I was running out of space. And so I quickly gave up on trying to make it proportional to the other fruit once I hit like the bigger fruits, the big melons to be precise. And so they look kind of funky. This one is layering weirdly. This is layering more like a water-based pen than alcohol or acrylic. Strange. It wasn't like this in my sketchbook. That's really strange. I don't know why it did that in this one. Just go over any of the super streaky. So then I'm going to go in with this mid-tone like turquoise color and outline where I had those stripes being. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. So I had this be like the epicenter. Okay. I feel like these ones are slightly more opaque than the Art X markers. Maybe that's just me though, or maybe it's the colors I'm working with. But this green layers over the lighter green so well, and I feel like I struggled with that with the other markers. Like I would layer over a color, but you could still kind of see the first color underneath. Maybe it just has to do with how big the area is that I'm covering. Because now I have to kind of go over it twice. Both markers, though, are really good at not eating up the paper. Like I've managed to put quite a bit of layers on this paper without it tearing it up. It does eventually, but, and I don't know if that has to do with the paper quality either, because they hold up pretty well in my sketchbook too, which is an Ohuhu sketchbook. So I think I'm going to do this one for the word. I tend to do the mid-tone color for the word, or a color that hasn't been used on previous pages, because I used orange a lot. There's a lot of orange fruits. Okay, for this, kind of similar to the pumpkin, I make like stripes, I guess. And I don't know how to explain it. I'll just show you. So I kind of go along the edges down to a certain point, up from the bottom, and then just kind of do flicking motions from both sides. I've never been a big painter. I am too impatient. I don't like waiting for things to dry, which is why I've struggled so hard with learning how to paint things. But these acrylic markers have kind of like let me delve into the world of painting and acrylics, but in a way that I am more comfortable with, which is markers. Um, so I'd recommend if you want to get into like acrylic painting, but you're like me and you've only ever done markers, I would suggest doing art or doing. Oh my goodness, I can't even freaking speak. I would suggest doing acrylic markers. Um, I think they're a good medium to start with when you're learning acrylics and how to layer and how to blend. Um, okay, that's the watermelon finished. And I'm just gonna write the word. But hold on. Okay, now I'm gonna write the word. Whew. Almost ran out of space there. Not my best work, but anyway, so that was finishing up my sister's baby book. Thanks for coming along with me as I did that. I hope you enjoyed watching me draw some fruit, and hope it inspired you to maybe draw some fruit or something you've never drawn before. So, thanks for watching. Bye!